What's going on, people? Welcome to 137 Works, and today we are having a look at this. This is the absolutely incredible, beautiful, but unfortunately ill-fated Corvette from the guys over at Drift Games, Dave Egan and the Drift Games crew. Yeah, if you know the story about this one, you'll know that it's kind of got a tragic end with the big fire that the guys sustained in the shed. I actually happened to work with them on that project. If you're new here, you might not have seen it. I'll leave a link somewhere in the description, but I actually did the graffiti mural, the Link ECU graffiti mural in what was originally planned to be the carcade of the Drift Game shed. If you don't know for some reason, if you're only new to drifting or if you're not familiar, this car was built. It started off life as a kind of regularly normal C6 Corvette, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it was built to be Dave's competition car, so he was going to start entering some competitions. Him and Josh built an MX-5, Dave built this Corvette, and this is the second or third iteration of it. It started off as kind of a still pretty cool, but like more, laid back, kind of stripped back version of a drift Corvette. And then between him, I think it was Darren McNamara at Group D Motorsport, they just went absolutely ham and made this, the F6 Corvette. Yeah, so they it was done demo runs. Again, I'll cut in some clips. I got to see it run at the LZ World Tour last summer. It was battled against the Group D car, I'm pretty sure at one point, the Group D Audi, and that was just, again, it was an amazing thing to experience. It was very loud. It looks absolutely gaudy. I was actually fortunate enough to be able to take a good up close look at it. I was invited to the opening day of the Drift Game Studios at the time. The crazy concepts, like the open front 3/4 panels and just that big crazy wing at the back and stuff like that, it was just incredible. But again, if you don't know the unfortunate tragic backstory, long story short, the Drift Game Studios burnt down. There was a small fire started in a garage directly below the Drift Game studio, and yeah, unfortunately they were literally only back from an event in Dubshed in the Northern Ireland. They came back, they had their trailer loaded, fully loaded with all their merch, all their cars, and they just restocked everything back into the building. And they were like, okay, I think it was like a Sunday or Monday, they're like, okay, we'll go home, get a night's sleep, I'll come back and unpack everything and reset up everything. But yeah, as the story goes, unfortunately a fire started accidentally down in the garage below them. So the Drift Game Studios was up on a second level. Fire started below them and just caught on and spread and just wiped out, incinerated the entire office that they built, all the cool little areas of the little street that they built and stuff like that, all the cars that they just freshly loaded in. They had literally just unloaded basically every car in their fleet except for one or two that were being stored elsewhere. I think was completely destroyed and lost, including the Lamborghini Gallardo that they had just built and just debuted for the first time at Dubshed a day or two beforehand. All the lads' personal cars, all their data and all that kind of stuff. Again, if you're in the scene, you know what happened. But basically this mod exists, which is just something that I didn't know about. I only discovered it recently. It's by Mr. Cripps. It looks basically completely perfect, one-to-one to the car as I remember it, and just, yeah, it's a bit more built on the stats of the car. It's got 982 horsepower, so just under 1,000 horsepower, 1,164 newton meters of torque, and it weighs 1,500 kilos, so very, very light, very, very torquey, and more than enough power. So it should be good. It should be good fun. It should be an absolute blast. If you don't know what we do here, basically after this now, there's going to be a little beauty montage, edit kind of thing, just showing off some cool angles and views of the car in detail to a little piece of music, and then we get in, we do a VR test, so we'll have a look around and see is the quality any good in VR, checking for like ambient occlusion, texture detail on any kind of interiors, if there's meant to be wiring or a box with switches or whatever like that, like just see if that's there. And then an audio test, basically just see how it sounds. Again, this car sounds pretty monstrous. It's got the big V8 in real life, or it had the V8 in real life, unfortunately. And then we take it out for a lap. When I'm doing a race car, it's usually on the Nürburgring, and when I'm doing a drift car, I usually do it on the Silverstone National Classic Forza section, down through those kind of the S-bends in Silverstone. But I think it's only right to do this one on Mondello. We do have a couple of versions of Mondello, and I think I'm just going to do some laps of Mondello on the open layout and just do some drift laps and just kind of see how it drives. Again, it's not about my ability as a drifter or a driver or a racer or anything like that. It's just purely to see how the car handles, see how it feels, see if it's fun. And yeah, it's just basically, I would like to drive these cars and test them out anyway. I might as well make a video on them. So yeah, with that all said, I will see you out on the track. Okay, so here we are, and it looks good. Obviously, we're in a bit of a shadowed area, so it's kind of hard to see all the details, but it looks, you've got ambient occlusion down there on the seatbelts, all the cage is modelled nicely. Obviously, the menu there is getting in the way a little bit, but it looks pretty good. My only thing is that I'm pretty sure, wasn't it not Dave's Corvette that had the drift games kind of moulded into the dashboard? I can't remember. I'll have to go and check it out and see if it is, if it was that car. And if it is, I'll leave a little message on the screen if it was. But other than that, again, the dashboard was carbon. We've got the e-brake and the sequential gearbox. I think it's a Samsonus maybe. Can't remember. But they're not animated is the only thing. Pedals also. None of the pedals are animated. You know, it doesn't get top marks, but it's fine. It'll do. Could be better, could be worse. Not much more to say. Unfortunately, it's passable. It's fine. It looks more or less what I remember the Corvette looking like, but like they didn't go above and beyond on it. So with that said, we'll do the audio test now. It should just sound like a really cool V8 Corvette sound. So let's hear this. Oh, it gets real raspy and nice when you're on full foot down mode. That's sick. That's sick, rather. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's do from the outside. Flame shoot at the back there, sick as hell. And just from the sides. Sounds amazing. It also looks unbelievable. Like, it really is one of the coolest cars I've ever seen. Just the aura. Like, unbelievable. Really, really cool. So we are here, as you might, if we look around a little bit, we are on Mondello, the digital motorsports. There you can see on the bridge across the Mondello there. So they released a version that is the actual Drift Games bash layout, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to do a few laps in either direction and just see what it feels like. So, okay, so you come into the first corner in reverse. This is, as you might remember from oh, that feels good. Now again, this is the Drift Games Bash, or the Drift Games Open as it later became. Variation of the track. Oh, had a bit of a choppy frame rate there for a second. Lost my visual, but yeah. So it won't be the full course. We're not going to be doing the kind of competition section, because while this car was built for competition, I'm pretty sure Dave, as I said in the intro, yeah, this was his comp car. I don't really remember him using it. Like, he definitely did use it in a couple of competitions, but it was more like piece of beauty to look at and like to bring it out to like a demo car for the LZ World Tour and stuff like that. See if we can do the classic big Mondello flick. No, no, it didn't like that at all. Okay, right, we're good. So, a little bit twitchy. The choppy frame rate's definitely not helping. Don't know why I'm getting choppy frame rate. Again, I've got a decent PC and it's not the most demanding track in the world, but yeah, fourth gear, it just sits and cruises in. It's lovely. So good. Now again, is this exactly what Dave experienced in his when he drove his real one? I don't know. Obviously, it's a bit too late, unfortunately. You know, rest in peace, this beautiful machine, to compare them directly. But let's see what we can do. Oh no. Okay, got a little too lost in the sauce there. Tried to get a bit too brave, but bring it in and around. Ugh. Okay, we're good. Yeah, feels absolutely lovely. I'll do a lap or two in the outside cam so you can get just a better view of what's going on. Again, it's a little bit shaky in VR, unfortunately. I do need to look into that. Is there any way to make the display on the screen a bit smoother? Okay, that's better. Not the greatest line anyone's ever seen, but that's a big entry. I'll take that one. It's just this little section of the track. My frame rate goes to absolute hell. Heck in a handbasket, as they say. I doubt anybody's ever said heck in a handbasket while driving a car this caliber. Okay, again, line all over the place, but just feeling out what I can do. Oh, it's fun, and it's just such a. Again, I can't get over how cool it looks. Like the matte carbon, the way that they did the matte carbon on it. Right, push my luck again there. I was in two minds. I considered going for a 360 as I was already starting to spin out, which was probably not the move. Fix the mic there. Very strange. Go for like an outside, an outer line. Nope. It's certainly it's not smooth. It is very like twitchy and wants to do its own thing a little bit, but it's fun. It doesn't drive itself. Like, it requires you to be paying attention, active and present. Like, oh man, I will get it. I feel like at some point it'll come around to me. But I think just for now, we're going to go back into the cockpit mode and go in the opposite direction for a bit. This was actually the direction that they went the first time that I went to Mondello, weirdly enough. Not the first time, but the first time as a actual current fan watching like Formula Drift streams and Irish Drift stream championships and stuff like that, and haven't gotten into Forza. It was 2014. It was actually 10 years ago this year rather. It was Matt Powers came over. That's the big reason why I went over. I was a huge, and still am a huge Matt Powers fan of Formula Drift. I just thought his S14 was the sickest thing I've ever seen. And yeah, he came over, drifted. Daigo Saito was there. Who else? There was a few other drivers as well. Robbie Nishida, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, it was just a great time. Got to see Matt Powers drift. And Daigo Saito, obviously, he was not long off winning the Formula Drift Championship and stuff. But that was really cool. But they actually did this layout here. So while most people think Mondello, they think of that first corner with the big entry and the quick flick and the backwards, you know, and all that kind of stuff, the wall runs and everything. I've actually got quite a bit of a soft spot for this layout. Doesn't mean I'm any good at it, but, but I've got a soft spot for it. Very, very snappy and twitchy. It doesn't like you trying to do things that it doesn't want to do. It's weird, but again, it's fun. Go for the outside line. Doesn't like that either so much. And then we'll do a couple of laps in third person in this direction, and then we'll call it quits, because I think that will have gotten the gist over. But yeah, having a blast. Maybe go this lane just now. Fun car. Definitely recommend trying it out. Again, based on an absolutely insane... Like, the fact that this looks like something like a Batmobile or something that could only be in the game, but the real life car came first, is just mad to me. Like, oh, what a big snap. I'm gonna save it. Sort of. Whoa, does not like those jumps. Not the best line around the outside that you've ever seen, but sure. Okay, we'll go for one more run around this direction, and we'll call it a day there, because don't want the video dragging on overly long, of course. It's the kind of car that I feel like a good tune would go a long way on it. I feel like this stock tune, because again, we don't tune these cars for these videos. Ooh, that's a mad entry. Okay. Maybe it just needs a little, maybe we just need to get used to it a little bit. The little link. Okay, let's go. This is a good run to end it off on, if I can bring it around town for the outside. You keep hitting the mic, goddammit. Okay, that's a perfectly acceptable little run to end out on. So with that said, let me whip off the headset and I will complete the outro. Okay, yeah, so that's that. It's an absolute blast of a car to drive. I really cannot recommend it enough if you are so inclined. Even just to have in, like, saved a piece of this history. Like, I feel like I've got a piece of the car left that this is in my collection. But again, as usual, download link from the creator, Mr. Cripps, will be in the description below. And yeah, if you enjoyed it, please do leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.